Hey guys, Jim here from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we're going to be taking a look at a device that'll help you get the best video out of your Nintendo GameCube. Hey, the handle came in handy. Until recently, the only way to get true 480p video out of your GameCube was by using the component cables. The problem with that is that they came from a mail order only offer, which meant that they're pretty hard to find. Not many people had them, and the ones who do have them don't really sell them that often. So when they come up on eBay, they go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why not just buy a third-party cable? And the fact of the matter is that there really aren't any. See, Nintendo put this proprietary chip inside the cable itself, which converted the signal from analog to digital output. So, since no one was able to reverse engineer that, there weren't any cables. Sure, the original Wii was backwards compatible, and you can get component cables for that, which was a much cheaper option, but it was still never quite as crisp as an actual GameCube with component cables. So people eventually started to make their own solutions to this problem. The option we're going to look at today is the GameCube Plug and Play 3.0, which is basically what it says. You plug it into the back of your GameCube, and you can get HDMI video out of it via 480p signal. So like the name says, this is the third revision of this device. The first one I remember seeing videos on about 2 years ago, 2016-ish, and I remember being impressed with it, but also thinking that it had a really flimsy connection to the actual GameCube, so I kind of shied away. Then ZeldaxPro had made a revision to it and had the 2.0, which Metal Jesus Rocks had reviewed, and he liked the device until it burned out his GameCube when someone accidentally tripped over the wire during gameplay. So it did a short circuiting and it burned out the entire friggin' system. So the one good thing to come from that is when I had ordered this originally, I had ordered it when the 2.0 was out. I was like, alright, this seems a little better, maybe now's the time. So when Metal Jesus put out that video of the GameCube burning out, everyone on the waiting list rightfully went, what the hell? So ZeldaxPro actually decided that he was going to make a new revision to it with a much more secure connection to the console. Now, there was a little bit of controversy on Reddit about where the design came from for the casing and everything like that. You can do your own research because I don't really dig on Reddit that much, but long story short, we have a much more crisp, clean, new design here. Now that all the backstory's out of the way, let's open this up and show you what comes with the package once you order it. When you order it, it comes in one of these padded envelopes. When you open it up, you get a couple different items, including you get an instruction sheet with links to an unlisted YouTube video from ZeldaxPro, and that kind of serves as the instruction manual for pairing your system to a remote control. Although it's to an older model, but it still kind of works. It's not the most intuitive thing in the world. Get a wrapper filled with your mini HDMI cable and your unit itself. Here's the cable. It's mini HDMI to regular HDMI. It's about 6 feet long, and it gets the job done. Not much to say here. Here's the adapter itself, which comes in a small Ziploc bag with another protective bag inside of it. Take the unit out, and here you go. Very simple. Have a button up top, plugs in here, and the HDMI out on the other side. Plugging the unit in is pretty simple. You just plug it into the back of the digital AV out port. Just note that later models of the GameCube don't have the port, so if you have an older GameCube, this won't do anything for you. Plugging it into the unit is very simple. Just get your unit, plug it into the digital AV out port, and that's about it. One thing that really annoyed me is the fact that they say almost any remote can work, and they can work from a distance of far away, but this is the only remote that I had that I got to work with it, and I need to be about, a foot to 6 inches away for it to actually work. I don't really plan on using the menu options that much, but it's still an annoyance, and you know what? If I had a better remote that worked with it, I would probably use it more. Speaking of, let's take a look at the options. Here's the menu options. At first you get to configure it after you hit the button. You can configure the left, right, up, and down buttons, and then follow that up with the actual options, which include scan lines, line doublers, and some other different things like RGB limited range or stretching the screen to 16:9. There's a decent amount of options here, but it's not a lot of stuff that I ever really usually mess with, although I did find that in order to get my capture card to record F-Zero GX in 16:9, I had to put it in here and then stretch the screen in the game menu options as well. So that was a little bit clunky, but I guess it's just one of those things that comes with content creation. Overall, some cool options here. Not a lot I'd use that much because of my problems using a standard remote control to get it to pair. But if you like this stuff, it's here, have at it. So now that we got all the hookup out of the way, let's take a look at the actual gameplay. We'll be comparing composite video, S-video, and video output through the plug-and-play 3.0. Here's a game that really pushes the graphics of the GameCube, F-Zero GX. Here it is in composite. Looks pretty good. Game runs smooth enough, everything looks good, even though the backgrounds can be pretty undefined, and with the overall speed of the game, you don't get really the chance to appreciate just how detailed everything can be. Still, it's a solid way to play the game. Here we go with S-Video, and everything's sharper, everything's a little clearer, and you can just appreciate the graphics just that much more. It still runs as smooth as ever, and it's definitely an improvement over normal composite. And here it is via HDMI 480p in progressive scan mode, and I mean, just look at how good this looks. Everything just pops off the screen. It's so smooth, it's so colorful, everything just looks so crisp and detailed. This looks absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Leave it to Sega to do more with the GameCube than Nintendo could. Haha. Moving on to the Game Boy player, here's Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. A great looking game. Here it is in composite, and it looks fine. Looks good enough. I'm playing one of the more high speed levels to try and show what it looks like and what this can really do. It's perfectly playable, if not a little muddy. Moving on to S-Video, it's a definite improvement, but it isn't as striking as it is with some of the more genuine GameCube games. And really, what can you expect when it's meant to be played on a screen so small? It's an improvement over composite, but it's just not quite as crisp as it could be. Here we are through the GameCube plug-and-play, and this is, again, the definite way you want to play these games. It's a lot crisper, it's a lot brighter, more colorful, everything pops, and it's just more detailed. Again, this is the premier way to play your GameCube games. So at the end of the day, do I recommend this guy? Well, for the most part, yes. The biggest drawback for me is the stupid integration with standard remote controls in order to get to the menus. Why he didn't just have it as a hot button combination on the controller blows my mind. So if you're really into easily getting to all the functionality and scan lines and signal changing and stretching the video, this might not be the device for you. I know that there's the Eon out there which goes for $150, which I think makes it easier to hit those menus, so buyer beware if that's the kind of thing you're going to be looking for. I'm more of a simple kind of guy, so I'm fine with the $100 or so that I spent on this. It does its job, it gives you that crisp, clear signal, and it really does look good. As you've seen from the video capture, I can't recommend it enough. So, like I said, if you're a simpler kind of gamer who just wants to play your GameCube via HDMI, give this a shot. Just remember, all the parts are made to order, so your experience and your availability on getting this is going to differ from person to person. But, if you're like me and you have some patience, give it a shot. Alright guys, that'll do it for this video. Let us know in the comments below if this is an item that'll interest you. Have you ever used the older revisions of this, or have you used a competitor such as the Eon? Let us know below as well, and let us know, your experiences with them, the pros and cons of both if you've tried both, all that kind of good stuff. We love hearing from you guys. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you haven't yet, why not subscribe to the channel? We keep putting up different hardware review videos, as well as a ton of video game reviews. And we're also the home of the Power Hour podcast, which is also on iTunes. So, until next time, guys, cheers.